Welcome to ShortView Trading, your morning market hit for Monday, 23rd of November. What matters today and this week for traders? Well, what an extraordinary amount of speculation we see in this stock market today. The funny money is clearly at work, and Bitcoin is a classic example of that. It's a pure play speculative liquidity instrument, and of course has been extremely strong throughout this year, but particularly since early October. And interestingly, of course, it leads the S&P 500. It's a classic leading indicator. And if you look at the chart in front of you now, going back 2 or 3 years, at key turning points, you can see that Bitcoin tends to be a few weeks ahead of the S&P 500 and telling you about the trend that you're going to get in the stock market in the following few weeks. So from that point of view, it really is a pure speculative play. It's very much a liquidity story, and it's living on the edge of liquidity, and it's a leading indicator of where liquidity assets will go. But of course, it's not just Bitcoin that's been speculative in this market. It's also call option buying. If you look at single stock call option volumes, they've been elevated throughout this year pretty much, except during the pandemic sell-off. But particularly in the last 6 months, if you look at the chart in front of you now, showing you the last few years call option volumes, you can see in 2020 elevated, particularly as I say, since April, May this year. And that of course is a clear sign of speculative interest in this market. Now, if you hone into a tighter time frame around the last 6 months or so, you can see there was a big spike in speculative call option buying, particularly in June this year, just ahead of that early June pullback. The call option buying was aggressive into that high that we saw at the start of June, and then of course receded as the market sold off. And we have that sort of price action once again in terms of this chart. That call option buying has been picking up into sort of early mid-November and is picking up once again. So what you see is a lot of speculative activity in single stock names. It's picked up in that aggregate call volume index that we've been showing you. And if you drill down to the detail, and many thanks to Ad Macro Charts for these charts that they put out on Twitter. Do follow them on Twitter. A great source of information. Here you get some single stock call option buying relative to its history, and you can see that this time round, instead of the tech names as we saw in August into early September, the area we see buying in call options this time round is indeed much more in the cyclicals and the value plays. So ExxonMobil, as you can see the chart in front of you now, very high call options outstanding, a lot of call volume activity in that stock. Equally in Carnival Cruise Corporation, or indeed in General Motors, the car company. So a lot of speculative call option buying. In aggregate, the index is at high levels. Bitcoin's been moving up sharply because of all the liquidity that's around. But net, these indices are getting back to high levels. So if you look at the total CBOE put to call ratio, that includes single stock option buying, but it also includes the index put to call ratio, you can see that's back at the sort of elevated sell levels that we've had over the course of the last 6 months. So markets are looking a little toppy in the near term. We've been discussing in recent daily rags the idea of whether or not they're consolidating or rolling over. And to see how we're playing this market, please see today's daily rag available to subscribers via the website. So what are we watching today and this week? Well, today it's flash PMIs across the Eurozone in the States. Those are key. First take on a bit of November's economic activity. There's also a speech out from the Bank of England's Andy Haldane, who's the chief economist and always quite interesting. In terms of this week, lots going on. Of course, it's Thanksgiving over in the States, so it's Black Friday shopping on Friday this week. That's always a critical shopping day, along with Cyber Monday and next week. Added to that, we've got the minutes from the ECB and the Fed's last meetings. And then there's lots of other bits and pieces of key macro, including Germany's IFO and US's personal income and spending for October. So that's it from us. That's your morning market hit for Monday, November the 23rd. Thank you for listening. Please do subscribe on YouTube. Simply search under ShortView Trading, or follow us on Facebook, Twitter and or LinkedIn. Thank you very much. Stay safe. Trade well.